All right, so we're going to go start with soft tissue therapy. We're using the foam roller that helps you get right up your spinal erectors, middle and upper traps, and we're going to go down the back and really kind of feel for any kind of tenseness or pain or impinging of any kind. We're also going to use it to get some cracks in the spine if they're, if we're really tight. Get some cracks, some pops. We're not going to go all the way down to the lumbar or the lower back. It's very hard to stabilize in that position. I like to open up my arms and try and get in through my lats and my rhomboids, kind of really open up everything. Breathing in and then breathing out to relax the muscles to try and really dig in deep. I'll do this for about a minute. I kind of speed it up for the video. And now I'm going to turn and get right in my teres. Major, minor, and the lat right underneath the shoulder. Now you don't just sit on this, you find a sensitive spot and then watch as I kind of move my arm up and down and around. I'll even rotate my wrist. I'm trying to open up the tissue. I'm trying to relax my neck and let the muscles move through a range of motion and then relax. You just basically want the spasming to stop so that you can move through a better range of motion throughout your exercise. So I'll do this for about 25 seconds to a minute on each side, and then I'll move on. You just see me kind of fall back in that. I'm trying to get a sensitive spot of the lat. And now I'm going to move to mobilizing the upper thoracic, and I'm going to do elbow openers. So going and putting the hand behind the neck, behind the head. We're not pushing on the head, but we're stabilizing. We're rotating and really pulling through the middle of the back and then opening up as much as we can. We're pulling to the middle of the back and then opening up. And you're going to see in the next one, I lift my leg up, my knee up off the floor. That's what you're going to feel like you have to do. If you're tight, don't do that. Instead, really try and pull your elbow to the sky and push through your arm that's on the floor to open up as much as you can, and then turn your head to the sky and look as far as you can up. Really rotate the chest. I like to do this 10 to 15 times on each side, depending on how tight or how mobile I feel that day, or if I'm in a hurry. There's multiple reasons why I would do less or more. I tend to do these anywhere between 3 to 7 times a week. Now we're moving into stretches against the wall dynamically. So right now we're just going to lean against the wall. We're opening up the lats from the front. I rotate my head away because I actually have pretty good mobility here. Every time I'm reaching a little bit higher in the air, a little bit higher to try and open up that lat, open up that shoulder. I'm moving relatively quickly. It's not a static stretch. We're trying to dynamically open up so that you can move better, not just be more flexible, but move better. So, gaspari. Now we're going to go into a pull-up. This is our most functional movement, but it's also a strength movement. I am cupping the wrists, so I'm not using my thumb so I can really focus. We're pulling the shoulders down. We're squeezing into the back and stabilizing the scapula before we even start pulling. Now I'm not standing all the way. I'm trying to keep a lot of tension in the upper lats, and I'm pulling towards the bar. That gives me the squeeze. I'm also pulling with my lats, not my biceps, and allowing a full contraction of the lats every time. A lot of control on the way down and kind of show you where you're working. Now we're doing a bent over single arm row with a elbow squeeze into the middle of the back, but we're not rotating. This is a lot about stabilization of the core stability. It's a very athletic movement. We're learning how to use our body, use our back in a fully stable position without letting weight rotate our hips or rotate our spine. So this is very good for athletes. This is very good for anybody trying to become better postural awareness. And it's also good for bodybuilders, but it's a little bit better for more athletic performance. So now we're going to get into the more bodybuilding specific lat building movements. This is going to be a pullover type movement. I'm using a cable with a rope. Now I'm using the rope specifically so I can get the lats through almost a full range of motion all the way down and pull my elbows back behind me. The lats work by bringing the arm from above the head down towards the hip. So this allows to get almost a full stretch of the lats and then a squeeze down. I usually do somewhere between 15 and 20 reps here. That way I can keep a lot of tension on the lats and get a good squeeze and get a lot of tension on the lats through each rep. You can go heavy, but it starts lifting you up off the floor. It starts affecting your form and technique. Here we're going to do just a typical row. This is just to show you how I'm executing it. I actually already did a set to failure. We're pulling the elbows out. We're squeezing down the middle of the back here, okay? We're not hitting the lats specifically. We're trying to hit the upper traps, upper middle traps. I'm not using my thumb at the moment. I would just hook my grip. That would allow for a lot of tension. Now we're getting into our first bicep movement. This is angled, leaning back, full stretch bicep curls, okay? So this allows to get the stretch in the bicep. So the arms are back behind you. This is the best bicep movement for athletes because it helps get that front delt and that long bicep head fully lengthened. It's usually very short. It usually causes a lot of rotation of the shoulders forward, and that hurts your posture. This is going to help develop the biceps, but also help lengthen the tissue for less chance of injury. And then the final movement of this back and biceps is going to be a reverse curl. We're using dumbbells so that we can move the elbow in the range of motion that is easiest for our body and easiest for our elbow joint. Right here, I would do somewhere between 15 to 30 reps. The forms really respond well to a lot of volume. I would alternate between going to this 3/4 range of motion that I'm doing right now to a full range of motion where I'm really stretching out the brachioradialis, brachialis, and the forearms as low as possible, and then squeezing all the way up. I do like doing alternating ones just so that you get a different effect on each one per exercise. So this is a great example of a back and bicep workout that an athlete or a bodybuilder can do, and I like to consider myself both, where I compete in bodybuilding and I compete in golf. I hope you guys like it. Follow and subscribe.